Hi, everyone. Well, I had a big breakthrough around processing denial recently. And I realized it's such a deep subject and deep to go into with all of you. And so I wanted to talk about it. And I wanted to talk about opening to disclosure. And I wanted to also mention my upcoming trip to the Bay Area, December 13th through 16th. I'll be available for in person sessions in the Bay Area, Northern California. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and listening. And tonight's topic is Unraveling Denial. And I had to take a few classes at university outside of my major. And one of them was Holocaust and genocide. And, you know, people think they know everything about the Holocaust and from movies or from just living in the world. And wow, I learned so much more there that semester than I ever imagined. And there was a Holocaust survivor that came to speak at the class. And one of the things he said was that so many people were in denial, and that whenever we're in denial, it's very self destructive because it doesn't allow us to see reality clearly and to see what is and to work with reality in a clear way. And there's a lot of truth to that. And sometimes it's easier to pretend not to know rather than to really face in to look at, wow, what am I in denial about? And why is it so attached? Because it can be so raveled into how we identify ourselves with who we believe ourselves to be, or what we believe our life to be. And it gets raveled up deeply with all of these ego identifications. And there's a lot of components around denial. So the thing is, it can be simple things like not wanting to admit you're really good at something and wanting to appear to be humble about it. It could be not allowing yourself to receive fully or to perceive that that actually might be the case. And so not only does it go in with ego identifications, it even goes into things that are happening in the world, things that have been hidden or kept from being expressed, like disclosure of other extraterrestrial races. People make such a big deal about that. I don't know what the big deal is. It's like, it's always been around. How is this anything new? But people have been in so much denial, they like to pretend that or think that we're the only ones. Yet, really, really, that's what I would say. There's a lot of levels and layers around disclosure. It's not just like one disclosure and it's all disclosed. There's a lot of levels and layers to it. Believe me, the whole disclosure can't be really done in one sitting completely because there's so much to it. So denial goes very, very, very deep. People are in denial to avoid things, to avoid seeing clearly, to being able to admit, wow, this is the way it really is. I would so much rather believe that it's this way. And so we're not doing ourselves a service being in denial. We're not, because it's an unwillingness to face the truth. It's an unwillingness to deal with what is. And it can keep us asleep and keep us very unconscious, or at least pretending to be unconscious. So another great example of it is addictions. People that are really deeply entrenched in their addictions are in a lot of denial about it. They would never admit that they have a problem with it. From sex addiction, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, it's like become a normal way of being, a normal habitual lifestyle for people to embrace their addictions and be in complete denial that there's any kind of problem. And that those addictions is really their true love and true relationship, bigger than any relationship that they have in their life sometimes. So these are some of the ways we can go into denial, you know, and it's easy to do. And the first step towards working with it is to notice it. Like, wow, I'm running some denial in this area. It's like that famous question, what am I pretending not to know? And it's important to really start to look at these things in order to truly become free within yourself, to face things in your life and to deal with things, you know, head on. And it comes up a lot of times in the readings that I do with people. Just the denial can just be peeled away. And then what? Then what do I do with it? Now that I've recognized it and now that I've seen it, it's there. Well, start to work with allowing yourself to choose differently, to make a healthy choice and to work with things in the way that they are, not in the way that we want to believe that they are. And it's really true that out of all the thousands of readings I've done, people usually have one area that they don't see clearly in their lives. Okay. Some people have more than one area, but it's usually at least one area where they have a strong unwillingness to deal with reality in that area. And it's emotional for people to face their denial and to unravel it, like to ask, what's the source of it? And to get to a place where they can see, wow, maybe I didn't feel I was worthy of allowing myself to have that or be that. And so it comes down to this big self-worth piece of being worthy. And, when people settle, I think that's a form of denial in a different way. So how often do we settle, just to keep peace or to brush through things? So it involves some self-inquiry, some self-honesty with self, and honesty to be able to communicate with others, and to really ask some deep and important questions. What would be the purpose also of keeping so much from humanity about other extraterrestrial races when it's been there all along and we share our planet? So what's the agenda around that? That's another important question. So I am going to the Bay Area coming up. And like I said, I'll be available for sessions between the 13th of December through the 16th of December, and maybe a morning one on the 17th. So if anybody wants sessions, reach out. You can connect with me through my website, Inner Precision, PRECISION.com. And or you can email me at david.innerprecision, PRECISION.com, at gmail.com. Sorry. Anyway, denial is a big subject. And it's also, a clue about it would be areas where we have doubts. Because doubts and denial are very connected. And so is trust, like areas where there's trust issues. There can also be an abundance of denial there, or an abundance of denial around doubts, or doubting. So only you can all look for yourselves within yourselves about, hey, which areas do I hold in denial still? What are my patterns around how I hold denial and where it shows up in my life? And, where do I want to start to work with it and shift myself and be open to allow myself to perceive and receive and look at things more clearly and directly face on. Thanks, everybody. Many blessings to you all. Thanks for listening. Cheers.